Educate myself on it. What's that? Oh, we can know. Yeah. The first, third one. Okay. Yeah. I'll take you up on that.
I'll give you the signal. Thank you.
You like this straight up?
Yeah. No, I mean, that's,
4 years.
yeah, I'll do it. Because the only one that says that, she's making a lot
Most times.
you know, there it states too, when you look at the.
Quick question for you. I need you to.
Hopefully I could do it.
If someone does not have a, what happens to me?
Patience while we get things organized. Good evening. Welcome to the Plymouth Town Council special meeting. I call this meeting to order 7:03 at April 14, 2026. This is regarded as a special meeting because it was set up independent of our regular meeting, which would needed to be postponed. So that's why this is deemed a special meeting. Just for the record, also like to recognize that we have a full quorum. All members of the town council are present this evening, along with our recording secretary, our town clerk. Thank you very much for supporting the meeting tonight. Fire exit notifications. If you go to your backs, directly out the back doors, if you exit to your left, go through 2 doors, and that will take you to the exterior of the building. If you go to the right and follow the exit signs, you will exit through the police department. Through the first door, we'll go to your left and then go directly outside. Item 4 is our Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise for the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This evening's invocation, we ask God to bless America and God bless the town of Plymouth. Item number 6 is the acceptance of the meeting minutes from the regular March 3rd meeting. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from March 3rd? Motion, Mr. Green.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Zagorski. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes from March 3rd? Hearing none, a regular voice vote. All those in favor of accepting the meeting minutes, say aye. Is anyone opposed? Are there any abstentions? Abstention, that was Mr. Tischer, right? I'm sorry, Mr. Engel. I'll get you guys straight one of these days. Thank you very much. Four in favor with 1 abstention. Thank you. Item 7 is accepting the minutes from the March 30th, 2026 special meeting. Is there a motion to accept those minutes? Mr. Green. Second. Did I get this one right? That was Mr. Engel. Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes from the special meeting of March 30th? Hearing none. Everyone in favor of accepting the minutes, say aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 8 is public comment on agenda items. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak on an agenda item, please do so at this time. We will also have public comment available toward the end of the meeting for anything that's a non-agenda item where you can address the council on any topic. Are there any questions or comments on agenda items at this time? I'm not seeing any. Thank you very much. I'm going to move to the mayor's report. I'll also note that the town council members, I was a little delayed in sending you the supplemental report from the mayor's assistants. That should have been in your email, but for the record, I'm going to do the mayor's report this evening. I'd like to provide an update on the transfer station. As most everyone knows, the compactor unit at the transfer station failed this winter. The casing that houses the piston for that burst, probably due to the aging metal and the extreme temperatures. I would like to thank the Public Works team, as well as our local business, ES Metals, who helped evaluate our options to move forward. The repair of the existing the existing mechanical operation was not possible, so a temporary dumping area is being set up to make it as easy as possible for residents to access. That's still a little bit in progress, but we hope to have that wrapped up, I believe, by the end of this week and by Saturday. Multiple companies have been contacted regarding a replacement compactor, and we hope to have a permanent solution option to bring forward very soon. I'd like to announce that the position of the Highway Department's supervisor has been filled by Aaron Heller, who began service on March 30th. This was to replace the spot vacated by the retiring Jim Schultz. I'd like to thank Dennis Kizis, who was filling in during a very difficult winter. He's returned to his role as the lead mechanic, and I think he was relieved to do so. I also want to announce that the agreement with our former highway supervisor, Jim Schultz, who provided temporary support, was completed as scheduled at the end of March, and that agreement has been terminated. Our Public Works Director and Highway Supervisor have begun the process of filling the open positions in the Highway Department, and those interviews and reviews are in progress. Just some general updates. Meetings are in progress with the Connecticut DOT officials to confirm and secure the schedule for the downtown Route 6 intersection project. Once we have those details, we can share with the public so we can plan for the road closures and possible detours. And we'll keep the public advised as best we can as that project moves forward. We do expect construction and detours will be required overnight that will result in the closing of the main section of Route 6. And that's part of the scheduling that we hope to get available to you so folks can plan accordingly. Plans for the Todd Street Bridge and the Farms, which is up in the old Armbruster Farm area, that Farms was part of that work was done last year. Those road projects are near completion. And this is going to, and we're starting to work on the bond package to finish that, what was planned for up at the Farms. The finance team is working with the town's financial advisors and the bond council to issue $3 million in bonds in late May or early June. Additional bonds can be issued later in the summer if needed. We're reviewing the current budget balances in the town roads accounts to determine what roads the crews can start to work on now, and that will be based on the funds available from our current year's budget. I've received notice today that we've got about $240,000 to $260,000 in remaining in the town roads budget from their current year's budget, so they will be able to start some of the work, and some of that has already started. They've done some drain replacement on North Street and some additional drain replacement, I believe in the South Main Street area, but we are trying to pick our battles and determine what is most appropriate. The town crew is out sanding now, and part of it is while they're doing the sanding and picking up the sand from the wintertime, they're keeping an eye on the roads and identifying any severe issues that need to be addressed immediately. I'd like to say that our IT team is still working to complete the website redesign. We do expect a launch by mid-May. There's been many competing priorities from a technical standpoint, and some urgent technical matters have slowed our progress. We're addressing issues as they come across and doing our best to keep on schedule with the website redesign. I'd like to say that announce that we have hired an interim building inspector. The main building inspector position remains open for now. Our interim inspector will work 3 days per week, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and he has started work today, as a matter of fact. We will continue to ensure we have adequate services by using certified vendors to fill any gaps until a full-time inspector is hired. We will be advertising for the open land use compliance official. This position was vacated last summer. And as soon as the revised job description is completed, we will post for that position. Lastly, kind of a public service note, I would like to congratulate our Emergency Preparedness Director, Tony Orsini, who received a life member recognition from the National Fire Protection Association. Tony has served in a variety of roles in the Plymouth Fire Department for several decades. He would not let me say how many years he's been with us. And he can add this honor to his list of accomplishments. We'd like to thank Tony for his continued service to the town of Plymouth. That concludes my mayor's report. I'd like to move to item 11, and this is an appointment, and I want to alert people that, oh, did I miss 10? No, I beg your pardon. Not intentional. Town Council Liaison Reports. So let's start with this. We'll start with Mr. Engel. Town Council Liaison Reports. Thank you for the reminder.
Thanks, Sue.
I think it was Linda that alerted me to that miss.
I'm going to start with the Board of Finance report. That they have passed the budget last night, or forwarded budget to the council of $48,625,299, a 2.79 increase with a suggested mill rate of 28.04. They've also put forth a suggested tri-board meeting on February 21st at 6 p.m. So, April, I'm sorry, I lost them on that. April 21st. Inland wetlands, there's nothing on the agenda for tomorrow evening, and it looks like most, everything has been moved through from earlier meetings that have been out there. And we met with the Housing Authority on 3/17. They passed their health inspection programs. We reviewed the physical audit, which was, they're in good, healthy shape at the moment. And that they may be looking at is a possible rate increase. That's really about it at this time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tischer?
Yep, I don't have much. The planning and zoning was canceled last week. Board of Ed will be doing tomorrow, and also the PVAC also.
Thank you. Mr. Green, anything? Sue Boyard.
Fire Commission, I missed the last meeting because we were at the Board of Finance. They are looking for volunteers, so there's signs all over the town. Please volunteer, help do a really good service to the town. The police department didn't have their latest meeting also. And the Board of Finance, I want to thank them for all the hard work they did. I've been going to a lot of their meetings and I learned a lot, and it's a huge process. So thank you guys for all the work that you did. We appreciate it. Human Services Commission was working on they were having a duplicate of service issue, and they worked all that out, and they're a very busy bunch of people, so that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Zagorski.
I attended a bunch of Board of Finance meetings over the past month and a half. I also have Public Works. Joe's doing a great job there. He's trying to get everything up to snuff and up to speed. He introduced us to Alan at the last meeting, and we're currently down to 5 maintainers again. So they're working on trying to get that filled. Park and Rec, they have a lot of activities planned for the upcoming year. Summer camp registration is now open. So if you have anyone looking to get into summer camp, that is open. They have a Walk for Hunger for the food pantry on April 25th at Lake Winfield. And they have the Kids Fishing Derby on May 9th at Lake Winfield. Sewer Commission, there's a lot going on there right now. They're in the final inspection phases of 9 Scott Road with the sewer connections, and they're reviewing a large-scale project, all the site plans up on South Street. So they have a busy time right now going through a bunch of different things. And that's it.
Thank you very much, council members, and again, my apologies for missing you. We'll now move to item 11, which is boards, dealing with boards and commissions. We have a new appointment to consider. This is for a vacancy from a resignation for the Housing Authority. It's a 5-year term, and we provided that information. I would be looking for a motion to appoint Elena Squires to the Plymouth Housing Authority for the balance of this 5-year term. Is there a motion to appoint Elena Squires? Joe Green, thank you. Is there a second? Second, Sue Boyard. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the appointment say aye. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thanks, folks. Item 13. This is our kind of our regular monthly tax rebate item. I took my glasses off so I could see the paper because I can't see the paper when my glasses are on. Thank you very much for the correction. I guess we're going to take just a minute and allow the Board of Education to set up and finish setting up, and then we will hear a presentation of the Board of Education. This was requested by several members of the Town Council, so we'll give you a minute to set up, and again, it's been a long day. That's all I can tell you. Whenever you're ready, Board of Ed, let me know.
Hello, everyone. share our budget. Sorry,
Thank
we
you.
don't need this. But I appreciate
I appreciate you having us come here to share our budget. We are really working hard to be as transparent as possible, and the more public forums that we have to share our information, the better. And any questions that anyone would have, we are happy to answer as well. Again, thank you for having us, and I'm going to turn this over now to our Superintendent of Schools, Brian Falcone, and our Business Manager, Matt Tenza.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to the mayor and the council for having us this evening. I'd like to thank the Board of Education as well. We have 3 evenings this week alone, and so I know they are working really, really hard for the paycheck they get every year. So I want to thank them as well. So I know there are a number of council members that requested for us to be here. There's a number of board members that requested us to be here. Just to kind of give you a thorough understanding of the Board of Education's budget, our requests, our proposals, and our capital needs. So I'm going to start real quick by showing you the calendar of our budget and how we create our budget. It starts in October, and we go all the way through, and I work with my administrative team, teachers, and Matt, to create a budget that we present to the board in early January. And then between January and mid-February, the board works to adopt and figure out what they want to add, adjust, and change within our budget. And then we bring it over to the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance looks at it, and they go through, and they make the appropriate adjustments they feel are necessary as well. And then that brings us to April 14th. So as you see, a major chunk of our school year is creating this budget. So with the budget and with the Board of Education, remember, our focus is children, schools, and our goals. And we have 4 goals that ground our work: student achievement, student engagement, well-being, and fiscal oversight of the school district. Those are our 4 goals that ground our work and that our budget is created off of. And so you'll hear me reference some of these goals as I go through the presentation. So our main goal in creating the 2026-2027 budget was to maintain our current staffing and programs. There were some additional things that I needed to add to the budget in my proposed budget to the board. The first thing I needed to add was 3 building substitutes. We were dealing with, and are dealing with, a union issue with regard to coverage at Plymouth Center School and at Fisher Elementary School. It's where the little ones are. We need coverage for classes, and we just don't have the appropriate substitute coverage now. Union came forward with a grievance, and we are resolving it by putting this in place in next year's budget. So we have 2 building subs that will be added to Plymouth Center and 1 to Fisher. That was added in my budget. It's really not an option for us to put those in. I also added a chemical hygiene specialist. This is for OSHA compliance. We don't currently have one. We need one. And that person will go around the district within the summer and then during the school year to go all the schools, check the chemicals from the paint in the art classrooms to the chemicals in the science classrooms, and make sure that we're in compliance. And that is a $2,500 stipend position I had to add. And then finally, with regard to our lunch program, the state has basically told us that we can only do so much to deal with students and families that don't pay their bills for their meals. So to offset that and to help with the shortfall, we put $2,500 into each school to help offset whatever shortfalls we might have in our lunch program. Those are the items that I added in my proposed and recommended budget to the board. After the board looked at my budget, they made some adjustments themselves. Again, focusing on the Board of Education goals with student achievement, there was a need and a feel that we wanted to add 2 regular education teacher aides into the school. They wanted to, the goal here is to add them 1 to kindergarten, 1 to 1st grade. Next year, put in the budget 1 for 2nd grade, 1 for 3rd grade. Next year, 1 for 4th grade, 1 for 5th grade. so that all of our elementary schools over a 3-year period would have regular teacher aides in there to support our teachers in the classrooms. Currently, we do not have any. But again, it goes along with our board goal. Second, we looked at a daytime security monitor. Where that came from my building administration. When our Board of Education walked our buildings this year, and there were 2 different dates where they came in and walked the buildings with our administrators, they asked the question, like, in the budget, how can we support you the most? And each one of my administrators all said a daytime security person. We have teachers teaching. We have paraprofessionals working with some of our most needy children. We have our secretaries working in the office. We have our principal at 1,000 different meetings running around the building. We need someone to look out for security. Someone to be watching the monitors, someone to making sure the doors are locked. And so, again, with the same kind of concept and idea of the teacher's aides, the board is looking to put in 1 daytime security person into each building each year. So we would start with 1, and next year we would ask for another 1 to kind of build up to our building principal's main priority. So there's a lot of information out there, I would say, in social media land. We'll put it out there. That's not accurate. One deals with our enrollment, and people like to say that the school district has a declining enrollment. That's actually not the case anymore. This is a projected enrollment study that we had that goes to the year 2036, and it shows that our enrollment is going to increase from now until then. I have some arrows in there, and I can't see the first arrow because it's small, and I'm scared if I walk this way it's going to echo. But the yellow arrow shows you what our projected enrollment for this year was, and it's much lower than our current enrollment. I think by about 80 kids. So that projected enrollment from 2035-36 is probably higher than 1,300 students. But the bottom line is our enrollment in the next 10 years is not going down, it is going up. To go along with enrollment, I wanted to show you where our positions were and where our students were. So we broke down each school because we always get the question of, do you have extra staff? And I'm going to show you that we are using every single person to the max within our budget. So you have pre-K, kindergarten, first, and second grade on the top of this chart. You're going to see the Fisher chart. It's going to look very similar after. You see the number of teachers we have in each grade, the projected number of students that we have in each grade, and the average class sizes that we'll have in each grade. And then underneath that, you'll see the certified support staff we have, their caseloads, and then the unified arts teachers, the non-certified staff, and the building administration. I want to point out that the enrollment data is for next year. But the caseload information you have for the certified staff is our current caseload, because that was too hard to project moving forward. Fisher has the same exact thing. You can see our staffing, our number of teachers in each grade. You see the number of students, average class sizes, support staff, and so on. And as you go through and you look at the middle school and the high school, you'll see that it's not as easy to project how many kids are in a class because the students are choosing classes, they're choosing electives, there's conflicts within their schedules, but you get the idea of how many kids are in a grade and how many kids are going to be in a class. And it's important to point out, when you look at Eli Terry, we have 1 social studies teacher in 6th grade. We have 1 social studies teacher in 7th grade and 1 in 8th grade. We only have 3. And the same thing with math, the same thing with science. In English language arts, we have 2, this is a double block of reading and writing. So we have 2 in that grade level teaching a double block. So it's important that you see that. So as our enrollment goes up, that might be something that we need to address as a board. And then Terryville High School, you see that we basically have 4 teachers within each department. And you'll see there's also additional electives. And then we go to the most controversial slide, which is central office. So I normally try to avoid the noise outside when I hear we're top heavy. or there's too much administration. This is our central office staff. There are 2 certified administrators in central office, myself and my assistant superintendent. We have a business manager. Our business manager takes care of a lot of our grants and obviously our budget. But there's a lot of things our business manager can't do with his certification that fall on myself and our assistant superintendent. We used to have an additional administrator, a curriculum director, that was an administrator as well, but that was removed in last year's budget. But we have a lot of people that are supporting the work that has to be done to run our organization. And so it's important to point out, you have 2 certified administrators and a business manager running the whole operation across all 4 schools. And so we wear many hats. I am the curriculum director, I am the HR director, I am the superintendent. And my assistant superintendent is the special ed director, and the assistant superintendent supporting me in those areas as well. And then Matt is helping me with HR, and all of the finance and all of the grants have slid over. So we're running thin in central office. So this is how our budget is spent per school. I always also hear that we have, $27 million budget. The school can take care of it. And I think we've hit some of those roadblocks along the way in working through situations where I want to show you how much money we actually have. So Plymouth Center's budget is $1.8 million. And we have required costs that go along with that $1.8 million. Salaries, extracurricular stipends, which is part of a contract, a contractual obligation, copier contract dues, utilities, pest control, OSHA, emergency repairs, and postage. Those are required to run our school. What our principal works with and what she actually budgets, and we give her the budget, is about $20,000. Is it $20,000 or 20? I can't, I'm sorry, I need my glasses. $20,000. That's what, when we give her budget, that's what we give her to work with. So she works with her pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grade teachers with $20,000 to run their school for the year. Then you go to Fisher, it's very similar. So what we did is we broke down the entire budget this way by condensing some things into required costs and remaining funds. The whole entire budget is in this graph or chart, I guess you can say. The most telling, I would say, is special education, though. Our assistant superintendent has a $7 million budget. But when you break down outplacements and transportation and salaries and purchase services and travel and summer school and all the requirements that we have in special education, her budget that she has to work with is $15,000. So the reason why I did this and broke down the whole entire budget this way across each of our line items is to show you this slide. You have required costs that are $28,506,000. I messed up the number, but you see the number. And then you have the remaining funds of about $250,000. So 99.14% of our budget is required costs. The remaining 0.86 is where we have some discretion to spend. But we really don't have that much discretion because we still need supplies. We still need to do a graduation for our high school. We still, those are the discretionary funds. So I think it's important to show that we really don't have the extra money that people might perceive we have to do additional things. We really budget super tight. Here are some budget informational items. Here's our contractual increases within the current operating budget. You see our certified staff, our non-certified staff, our administration, our benefits, transportation, outplacements, tuitions, and utilities. And the outplacement tuitions, from when we started this to now, it's very different than it looks now. I would say we're not in the negative anymore. But you see that the overall increases are 3.67% that we can't control. So we are budgeting the best we can with what we can control. And we're really thinking outside the box as a board. Here are some of budget adjustments that the board has made with myself. We are looking outside at changing our benefit plan. This is a complete risk. We met with the teachers union today with regard to negotiating a new health benefit plan. And we have placed in a $500,000, a little over $500,000 in there, as Mr. Engel will tell you. It's probably a big risk. We have excess cost, which that is a pretty safe number to put in there. And then we have anticipated faculty for retirement savings. That's a total risk. We're looking for 2 people to possibly retire in this year, and we haven't received those at this point. So that is a $75,000 risk within our budget. The things we've added, we've already talked about, but those are the costs that go with each of the items that are added. And you'll see from what I added and the board added, the board only added around $74,000 to my proposed budget, and it was for things that really do align to school safety and to improving student achievement. We loaded our grants with people. They're the best resource, our best resource for working with kids, and that is also a risk. A grant goes away, and so do the people. And so I wanted you to see that we have 12.6 positions that are grant funded in our budget. And this is our current budget. This is the board adopted budget, and it is an increase of 3.99%. Now I understand that the Board of Finance reduced that number to my original recommended budget. I'm not presenting that evening because I don't agree with it. I'm presenting the budget that the board adopted that's right to move us forward. The budget that was sent forward from the Board of Finance keeps us right where we are. We need more. We need help. I actually have a chart that I'm questioning handing out that talks about from 2010 to now, the impact of just 2%. If the Board of Education just got 2% from 2010 to now, how much more we would have. Well, now that I mentioned it, I'm going to hand it out. And this isn't to say anything negative about anyone. This is just to show that all of you on town council, the mayor, the Board of Education, the Board of Finance, we're picking up the pieces. We're picking up the pieces from some things that happened in the past. And what it will show you is that if we got 2% over the past 16 years or 15 years, our budget right now would be over $30 million. So that's why I'm presenting the 3.99, because I do strongly believe that's the minimum we should be moving forward with. And I believe that's what the board feels is the minimum we should be moving with moving forward. Because we are behind and we're trying to catch up, just as I believe you feel the town might be behind trying to catch up on some things as well. This is also a misperception that's out there, that people like to talk about how the board's budget is $28 million to the taxpayer. It's actually not, because we get the educational cost sharing grant back. So the amount of money to the taxpayer in Plymouth off of this budget is $18,878,052. Still a lot of money, I don't question that, but I just want to make sure that perception is out there, because this is the reality. This shows you the money that we need to support different percentages of our budget. If the council makes a decision to give us 2%, we would have to cut $550,000 in our budget. Again, there's some risk in our budget, it would probably be more than that. And if you gave us 3.99, we wouldn't have to cut anything, so that shows you the scale. And I also thought it was important for this because I try not to listen to the noise. But this group that's sitting here and I believe the Board of Finance heard this as well. They're aware of the struggle. They're aware of how difficult times are. Education funding has been flatlined since 2013, and that burden's fallen on the taxpayer. So this is from CAPS, which is the Connecticut Association of Public School Superintendents. And again, my budget came in at 3.72. The average superintendent's budget as of yesterday came in at 5.23. That was their recommended budget. And the average adopted budget from boards of education across the state came in at 4.99. We're at 3.99. So we're all aware of the struggle, and we're doing the best we can to keep moving forward in the most responsible way possible. So this is, if you've seen my presentation the first time and second time, it looked just like that. Changed some numbers here and there. This is all new. So we're showing you the capital improvement portion because we think you need to see this and understand. The last time a capital project has been supported by the town and community was in 2016, 14? It was when Eli Terry's roof fell in. I was the assistant principal there at the time. It's probably about 17 years ago. And that's the last time we've had support from capital improvements in the town. Now, we've been creative as a board over that time, and we've been able to do a lot of things, but I think this slide is very important. The Board of Education is responsible for the day-to-day operations and maintenance of the school, and we address capital improvements projects that are $50,000 or less. Now, you all know the town charter says $5,000 or less, or more, I'm sorry, is the capital. We're at $50,000 less we're taking care of. We created that number. We just picked it. But when we're talking about roofs, windows, parking lots, there is not a way for a public school that's not regionalized to save, to legally pay for a project like that. It's not possible in your operating budget. We cannot do it unless we were a regionalized school district. So we do need support on those larger projects. But I want to show you some of the things that since Matt and I have started working with this board and with our previous board, some of the things we've been able to accomplish over that time. This is at Plymouth Center School. You see exactly where we got the funds from and how they were utilized, the projects that we completed and the years they were completed in. Even to the point of 26, 27, we are getting a brand new playscape at Plymouth Center School. Because when we reconstructed and reconfigured the schools, reconfigured the schools to a pre-K through 2 school, that playground is made for 3 through 5-year-olds, grades 3 through 5. So our little ones are getting hurt. It's not ADA accessible. So we, as a board, made a decision on working with one of our contractors to extend a contract. And in turn, they're financing, I would say 75% of that project to put in a playscape at Plymouth Center School. Again, thinking creatively outside the box. And it's not just me, it's not just Matt, it's Greg Showers, Jerry, Robin, Nicole, Karen, all of us. If I missed you, I apologize, Rebecca. But it's all of us that are bringing ideas to the table on how we can make things better for our kids. Here are some things at Harry S. Fisher Elementary School. Again, we're trying to make the learning environment better for the kids any way we can. The newest thing that we're working on and we're looking at and we're going to discuss tomorrow at our board meeting are the heat pumps at Fisher Elementary School. The heat pumps are no longer working. They're older and I am not lying, they're older than me, and they can't be replaced. And so we have to figure out, they can't be replaced, they can't be repaired. We have to figure out how we're going to do that. And so we're going to have that discussion as a board tomorrow because it's a necessity of something we need. And I assure you that's over $50,000. And then you go to Eli Terry, you have the same thing, the number of items that we were able to complete since 2022, 2023. And we call it the new high school. It's almost 20 years old. You see a number of the items that we have completed at Terryville High School. So we have some capital improvement priorities that are our priorities that we're going to deal with as a school district. And you have them listed there. Some are in progress that we're currently working on. Others are priorities after those are done. Our goal is to finish all of these up. We want to find ways, creative ways to finish all of these projects with whatever grant money we can get, whatever we can grab, we're going to try to fix these. But this next list, I don't think we can tackle. I know we can't. These are all large ticket items that need to be done. And if you look, I know that many of you, I sent you photos of Plymouth Center School's hallways. And there were buckets, I was in the school, walking to school, a ceiling tile dropped to the ground, it was so heavy. And the roof is an issue there, but it's not our number one priority anymore. After all the heaving, we have a major sidewalk issue at Plymouth Center School. We have kids falling, it is a safety issue. That is our number one priority right now to get fixed. And then it's the roof at Plymouth Center. And then it's the roof at Fisher, which we also have ceiling tiles out on. I understand this is a pretty hefty lift. And the list is long. But the last thing that happened, the roof literally had to fall in on the school before we addressed it. We need help and we need support because we can't help the age of the roof. We can't help the high school parking lot falling apart. These are things that we can't help, but we're doing our best. And that's all I have for you. That was just information. It was more important that you have the actual presentation for you to look and refer to, but I just wanted to go through that. And we're here to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Falcone. I will turn it over to any member of the town council that has any follow-up questions at this time. Does anyone at the town council have any questions regarding this? I'm seeing Mr. Green has a question. Please go ahead.
Do you want me to go back to the slide?
No. The sidewalk, how much is the sidewalk that's heaved?
We're trying to get quotes now to find out what the new cost, whether it's replacing it as concrete as it is now, or do we look as an asphalt replacement, but we're trying to get quotes for that right now. So I don't have an answer to your question.
Second question is, under each remaining funds for each school, you indicate, you have 20,000 for Plymouth Center, and then you write supplies, and then you go on down. How much of that money do you think is getting allocated to each classroom and to each teacher?
So how we create our budget is we'll start from the top up. Mike Holtz meets with his department heads at the high school, and the social studies, science, they all create their budgets with their teachers. They bring that information to Mike Holtz. At the middle school, the social studies department meets with Darren Migliotti. They share what they need, so on and so forth. The budget's created, they're allocated the money. We try, if anything, over the years, we've cut maybe 5% off of supplies. We've done things like that, but basically what they're asking for and what they need to instruct and teach is what we provide them. Unless they ask for items, for example, Mr. Green, say you taught home economics, and we see every year you have a $15,000 budget, and every year you spend 10, you don't spend the last 5. That we're going to start questioning if you're still putting in a $15,000 budget. But basically the teachers get the money, it's a matter of them spending what they get, but it is budgeted for them.
Do you think they have enough?
No.
How much do you think that they need?
I don't know if I can answer that right now. I can tell you we've been skimming off the top for a while. We've been skimming off the top. I don't know if I can answer that. I would have to go back to my
If you could
administrators.
get me an answer, because personally, I would like to see that number go up. Because I feel that teachers are not given enough to, just for their classroom. From experience, my children come home and say, here's our list. We're paying for it. So I would prefer that we continue. Everyone else is on board. I would like to give more money to that line item to be able to give the teachers what they need in their classroom.
We can get you that.
Thank you.
I would want to work with my administration and
Yes, that's
teachers
fine,
first.
as long as I have an answer for next
Absolutely.
Tuesday.
I'll tell them that until Friday.
Yes,
No pressure.
that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you. I think, Mr. Engel.
I have a couple of them here. Healthcare, have we offered incentives to any of your staff to retire early? If so, what type?
We have not offered an incentive for anyone to.
And again, I'm going to go from experience from my last position. We offered a $15,000 healthcare targeted incentive. We received 5. We clearly retired. So just something to think about. It may help your budget. And it will offer you, it does net you health savings in the long run. It's just not sure if you can, it might be too late on this, but just something to think about.
That band of folks that may go early currently is very.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Matt and I do look at it every year to see if it's worth it, because we have done it in the past. We have a very small group. We have a high turnover rate in our district of teachers.
When I just left, 90% of the staff was at 110. So that's why we offer. Your salary range is probably more 30, 40 times. That's why we offer it. Second, on the healthcare modifications, what are we looking at? A high deductible, or I know you deal with Brown & Brown, the same as I've done.
We were looking to go to an HSA. We still have, believe it or not, it's not that we're working against the bargaining units. We're working with them to try to find the best solution, because they understand the problem as well. Our insurance is going up 18%, 19, so 20%. And it's out of control, and it's not sustainable. So we're trying to find solutions working with them.
Between you and me, there's something needs to be done at a higher level in terms of healthcare, because I know every district is facing a 20 to 30% increase in healthcare costs this year. You can't keep up with it.
And Mr. Engel, we're hiring people, and their health insurance costs more than we're paying them sometimes.
Stanley plans $35,000, $37,000 a year. I've seen it or higher depending on your structure. Cafeteria, I'm going to move on to the next one that I took good note on. I noticed you bumped it up about $10,000 to cover any deficits on the cafeteria. Is that enough? Because my deficit, my last district, was running about 100 to 120,000. I'm just throwing it out.
How much?
We're not that much.
100 to 120,000.
So, no. So our
Every district.
Our cafeteria right now, we are breaking even.
You're lucky.
The money that's The money that we have listed there is for the unpaid debt, which, as you know, the state has handcuffed us on collection.
Yeah, no shows.
Correct. So, and even that number is too small, but it's more than what we've had. So,
That's enough.
you sure?
Yeah, I'll let you say.
Excuse me. Anything from this side? Oh, I'm sorry, Ron, anything? No, you're good?
I just said, if you guys could get us a rough number for next Tuesday on the sidewalk at Plymouth Center and the roof at Plymouth Center, to see if there's something we could look at for capitals.
Yeah, so that was, we just recently did a scan of the roof. I don't know
So we just had the infrared scan done of Plymouth Center School. It was done on Saturday. We just got the report today as to what the results of that were, and indeed, we do have moisture underneath the surface of the roof. Can't really tell under the solar panels, but the assumption is if it's surrounding all the panels, it's underneath there as well. The next step is to get a quote from the company for what it's going to be, and we've asked for a rush on that. And regarding the sidewalks, I have asked Jim Mazon to get people out there as quickly as we can. We actually, this is a conversation we just had a couple of days ago as we kind of escalated things. But we appreciate the consideration, and we're going to try to get you the information.
I think our original plan was to try to patch up and repair the sidewalks again. We did it about 3 or 4 years ago. It cost us about $55,000 to do all the sidewalks all over again. It just comes right back up, and the board has received a number of concerns about that, and they've literally seen some children fall, and so it has moved up the list.
Sue, any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for that detail. I think this has been beneficial to the town council. As we all know, sometimes the tri-board meeting doesn't give us the exposure and the depth of understanding of what your budget is. So I want to thank the town council members and the Board of Education members who requested this. Might become a regular thing. Probably need to do a little bit earlier, but at least it was this evening and not next week. And I think the town council members appreciate it. And I hope that the listening audience also maybe has a different perspective. So I look forward to working with the board next week, and remind everybody that the public hearing and the tri-board meeting will be scheduled for the 21st of April, which is next week. That posting will go up soon, and the announcement will go in the newspaper tomorrow by law. We have 5 business days that we have to post that. Is it 7? No. That would roughly, that would even put us out past the other charter deadline, which is the 23rd, which is when it has to be done. So if that was an oversight, I can only apologize and ask for forgiveness, but we'll review that tomorrow, and we'll try to get that posted as soon as we can. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Seeing no more questions, I'll try to look at my agenda and announce the proper item for this that has to come up before us next. Hang on, please. There's a request for a couple of minute break. If I don't see any objection to that, let's say take a 2-minute break and we'll reconvene. Let's make it a 5-minute break and we'll reconvene at 8:03. All right. Thank you, everyone, for indulging us in that quick break. We've had a lot of information, and certainly I need to make sure I got my numbers straight. So that being said, I'd like to reconvene this meeting of the special meeting of the Plymouth Town Council back to order, and it is 8:06 p.m. Welcome again for anyone who's looking at home. So we have reached item number 13, which is to discuss and take action to refund the overpayment of taxes. This occurs on pretty much on a regular basis. This list that you see in front of you was prepared by the tax collector, and these are taxes owed. I would entertain a motion to refund the taxes as listed in the agenda. Do I have a motion? Motion from Ron Tisha, second Joe Green.
Take it easy. I'll see you next week.
Is there any discussion on the refund of taxes item? Hearing none. All those in favor of refunding the taxes as listed in the agenda say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Let me just get the second here. Second was Joe. Very good. Okay. Item 14. This evening we conducted a public hearing to discuss the revisions recommended by our town attorney to the Veterans Ordinance that was previously passed back in, I think it was late summer of last year. There was a couple of technical items, and when we reviewed that, there was no public comment from the general public during the hearing. I would entertain a motion to approve the revisions that were presented to the town council by the attorney this evening. Is there a motion to approve that? Motion is Sue.
I'll second it.
And second TJ. Thank you. Any questions on that item? Any discussion on that item, rather? Sure, please do.
I would just, I got my days mixed up, so I wanted to apologize to everyone that I did not make it at 6 o'clock. I was out standing with signs saying "Be kind" with the other lions, so I do apologize for not making that meeting, but I did talk to the attorney, so I got caught up. So anyway, thank you, and try to be better next time.
Thank you. Appreciate that recognition. Not a problem. And I failed to, and so while we're being transparent, I failed to say the roll call at the beginning of that meeting, and I didn't recognize that you were missing. However, we did have a quorum, so we held a legitimate public hearing. Any other discussion on this item? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the ordinance say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you for that. I will relay that information to our assessor's office. They had a lot of concerns about the technicalities and making sure that we got it right, especially that it is tax time. And also we want to make sure that the veterans are recognized appropriately and get their deserves under the state and local rules. I would like to now move to item 15. This is to discuss and take action on the agreement to replace Fire Engine 8. I do want to just give a little bit of context on this. The actual purchase of the fire engine to replace Engine 8, the actual purchases doesn't take place until the end of fiscal 26, 27. So I don't have the exact schedule, but we will not start to incur debt from this purchase until the very first part of fiscal 28. The reason that we're entering and requesting to enter into this agreement this evening is to put the lease agreement in place and secure the funding, the agreement for financing for over a 7-year period, and to ensure that we lock in the most available rates. Myself and the finance director met at length with the leasing company, and the motion that we're looking for defines the resolution that is required by the leasing company for myself to enter into the agreement. I believe Mr. Zagorski has a motion ready to go.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to authorize the mayor to enter into the necessary agreement to replace Engine 8 as per the following resolution. Whereas the town of Plymouth has determined that the true and very real need exists for the acquisition of the equipment described in the lease purchase agreement presented to this meeting. And has further determined that the equipment will be used solely for essential government function and is not for private business use. Whereas the town of Plymouth has taken the necessary steps, including any legal binding requirements under applicable law, to arrange for the acquisition of such equipment, be it resolved that the town of Plymouth that the terms of said lease purchase agreement and escrow agreement are in the best interest of the town for the acquisition of such equipment. Therefore, the town of Plymouth designates and confirms that the mayor to execute and deliver and to witness Leasing 2 Inc. lease purchase agreement and escrow agreement. This includes any related documents necessary to the consumption and the transaction completed by lease purchase agreement and escrow agreements.
Thank you, Mr. Zagorski. I know that's a mouthful, but it's necessary for us to do this. Is there a second to the motion? Sue Boyard is the second. Thank you. Okay. I will open it up to any discussion or questions. We have two representatives from the Plymouth Fire Department here this evening. I'm sure if there's any kind of technical questions, and I want to thank Captain Greg Cody for working with the mayor's office and the leasing company to get this agreement in place. So if anybody has any questions or discussion on this item, we'll entertain that now.
I just got a quick question.
Can you flip on your switch there, sir? Thanks.
Just a quick question. Where does Fire Engine 8 operate out of? Plymouth. Plymouth, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. I will keep everyone advised of the, thank you very much, Council, for your support. And again, thank you, officers of the Plymouth Fire Department, for supporting this and being here this evening in case we have questions. I will keep the council advised of the agreement and all those details. As soon as we have them finalized, along with the rate schedule and the debt schedule, we'll make that available to you. I will say our finance director was pretty happy because we are not adding any additional debt service for this equipment in this current year budget that's being proposed for vote next week. Thanks again. Okay, we are going to move to item number 16, which is public comment on non-agenda items. Anyone from the general public? We've got somebody from the back. Let's start with them. And then we do want to just document, so if you don't mind writing your name on the paper before you speak and then you announce, that'll help us make sure we get our meeting minutes accurate. So, non-agenda items, public comment.
Melanie Church, 328 Main Street. I happened to get, there was a discussion going on about the police contracts. And in there, I find, lo and behold, extra duty. The term extra duty, for the purpose of this article, shall mean police duty for which an officer is assigned to perform for any party or organization other than the town. Such duty shall be paid at the rate specified in section 2 and shall be paid to the employee through his regular town payroll check, not later than a week after payment is applied for by the employee. The town shall assume the responsibility of collecting payment from the private party or organization. The Board of Ed is not an organization. It is part of this town. And for graduation, they should not be paying for police officers and cars, or when there's a PTA thing going on. It's the same thing as when they have the thing at Lake Winfield. They don't pay, and the Board of Ed is paying. I think that should be stopped immediately. It's clear in here. It's on page 6 of the police contract, and I think it's serious enough. They're struggling to make ends meet, and then they're being demanded that they have to pay for all these extra cops and stuff. If it's part of the town, it should not be paid by the thing. That's almost like double dipping from the taxpayers. And I think it's serious enough. I understand there's some changes that have gone through. And one is, Dave, when you ran, you said transparency. And now people can't speak to you, they got to go through your assistant. That's not the mayor. That's not the transparency. Then I understand there's meetings for dinner, and it can only be with your party, not with anybody that's of the opposite parties, of independent or unaffiliated or Republican, as you ran Democrat. The increase in educating cost sharing, looks like there's going to be money added to that. I called a couple things and they turned around and told me that. And also, OSHA and DEEP, we were in violation. What is the cost? What did it cost the taxpayer in fines? We have a right to know. That's transparency. We can't change things if everybody keeps shoving everything behind the closed doors. And we're not supposed to know. People are not stupid. People are struggling to get by. At least be honest and give them the facts. Not make it up or not say, oh, we can't tell you. That is transparency, and I have not seen it. Thank you.
Thank you. Additional comments from the public on non-agenda items or any other item?
Connie Capralis, South Eagle Street, Terryville. I've been attending many commission meetings. It's come to my attention that there are some commissions that are missing full quorum numbers. And then there's also been some absences in these meetings which causes quorum problems. Perhaps we need to address the situation by increasing alternate members in these commissions. Then this problem of having to cancel meetings because of lack of quorum might be corrected.
Thank you. Are there any other public comments? Seeing none. I'd like to move to town council comments, and then I do have something I can add with response to one of the public comments this evening, and I will get answers to other questions as they've been presented by the next meeting. So let's start with council comments first. Mr. Zagorski.
The only thing I really had questions, I'm not sure if you have any answers to it or not, Mr. Mayor. 156 Main Street, 211 Main Street, and 8 South Main Street. Do we have any updates with any of those properties? Because those are all properties that were damaged or condemned at one point. And I know the 156 Main Street was like a huge problem with the displaced residents. So I'm not sure if you have any information or you get that for us for next meeting.
I can do that. I can say that I know that there's, in 156 Main, there is a application for restoration of that building going through the process right now. That's the only one I know about, but please get a hold of me with those addresses again. I can get you an update. But I know that there is movement on 156.
Just look downtown, and downtown is looking very, very bad at the moment.
Anything else? Okay, thanks very much. Ms. Boyard, any general council comment? None? Okay. Mr. Green? No comments? Ron, anything? All set? Mr. Engel, I got that right. Okay, great. I do want to respond because I do have some information that I can share with the public with response to the question about OSHA fines. I'm not aware of any deep fines, so that was news to me, so I'll look into that. But regarding the OSHA fines, I will let the public know that the town of Plymouth, just 1 month into my administration, was visited by state OSHA officials, and they conducted an entire OSHA review of all departments and all town buildings. That was a lengthy process, took nearly, well, the inspector was here for 8 business days. We had subsequent meetings and reviews with all the department heads. We met with the OSHA official who presented all of their findings at that time, and then we were directed on how to proceed. Approximately a month later, we were presented with the final findings from OSHA. At that time, the fines were in excess of $15,000 total, and that was applied in various departments. Some was in the town hall, some was in the library, some was at the facilities at the transfer station, some were around. So my point is that those violations were spread around. We met with members of OSHA, and when I say we, myself, and all the various department heads, including our Fire Marshal Charlie, who helped direct a lot of the activities. A lot of them had to do with safety. We were able to reduce the fines down by some 65%, and the total fine, I think, came to about $8,000 something. When we went to find out how the previous fines were paid, there was a lot of confusion. So right now, those fines were paid out of a legal account because we don't have a OSHA fine account established. I'm working with the finance department to look for how we're going to deal with things of that nature. I'm not aware of any DEP. I wanted to bring that right now because I was going to include it in the mayor's report, but now all the abatements are completed. We asked for extensions on multiple abatements, and an abatement means you fix the problem. That's what it means. So for example, we have something going on up at the library that has to do with identifying leaks and potential asbestos. We have to work with a company to come in and do a full evaluation of some areas of the library for asbestos. That's the one that comes to mind. I am pleased general public, I'm not saying that there's asbestos in our library. What I'm saying is that that was a noted, that we didn't have a program in place to identify that as a possibility. I will tell not only the folks here tonight, but members of the council, as well as the general public. We have the entire OSHA report. It's sitting on my back table, and it's also, there's a copy of the report along with the filing at every one of the departments. So if anyone is interested in getting the detail on the OSHA inspections, the current state of the abatements, as well as the fines, the specific fines for each violation, that is readily available. Just contact my office. I'll be glad to get that information for you. That's an important item that I'm able to provide you detail on, and I'm glad to do so. So I thank the public for the question. Regarding the other questions that were brought forward, we will look into them, and as I've been trying to do, I will bring forward in part of my mayor's report at the next meeting anything to do with those particular questions. Thank you for indulging me on that extra comment. I appreciate everybody's time tonight. It was a lot of meeting, covered a lot of ground, and at this point I will move to item 18 and say a motion for adjournment is in order. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion, Mr. Engel. Second, Ms. Boyard. All those in favor say aye. Is there anyone opposed? And this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and thank you for watching tonight. And those of you who may watch in the future, you can contact the mayor's office anytime if you'd like to set up an appointment to come in and visit. I'd be glad to talk to you. Have a good evening.